بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. محمد سعيد with you, physics teacher. Now we are going to complete the answers of المعاصر book on laws of circular motion, version page 60. Choose multiple choice questions. Okay, number one. The opposite figure shows a car that moves with velocity v towards east. We have a car moves towards east with velocity v. If acts on the car in the east direction. A force if acts in the same direction of movement. So this force will cause what? We said that if a force acts in the same direction of movement, the speed of the car increases, or we can see that the car acquires a positive acceleration in the same direction that changes the speed in magnitude, but it doesn't change its direction. So we have four choices. Then the car's velocity will A, decrease and the car will remain moving towards east. No, it's wrong. The car's speed will increase, not decrease. B, increase and the car will change its direction. No, the car's speed it increase, but its direction doesn't change. C, increase and the car will remain moving towards east. So the true answer, question number one, the true answer is C. The car speed will increase without changing its direction. The car keep moving in the same direction. D طبعا wrong. Decrease and the car will change its direction gradually towards east. It's wrong. Okay, question number two. When a force acts on a moving body in an opposite direction, a force acts in the opposite direction. We have a body moves in this direction, for example, and a force acts in the opposite direction of movement. So this force causes what? This force decreases the speed of the moving object, or we can say the object acquires a negative acceleration without changing its direction. So the true answer. Towards motion, its velocity decreases without changing its direction. True. So the true answer of question number two, A. Its velocity decreases without changing its direction. Okay, question number three. A body moves towards east on a plane, frictionless surface with constant velocity. A body moves towards east. Okay, question number three. A body moves towards east with a velocity V. Okay. If two forces, F1 and F2 act on it as in the opposite figure, then its velocity will change in a force acts F1 acts in this direction, its magnitude 5 Newton, and another force F2 10 Newton acts in the other direction. So first we should get the resultant force. Two forces acts on the same body. So the resultant force of these two forces 10 minus 5 equals 5 in this direction. So now the angle between the acting force and the direction of movement is perpendicular. This force acts normally to the direction of movement. So it causes what? It keeps body moving in circular path with constant speed and changeable direction. So the choices say that then its velocity will change in A, magnitude only. It's wrong. The magnitude of this moving body doesn't change. This force is called centripetal force because it acts normally to the direction of movement. So it keeps the body moving in circular path with constant speed and changeable direction. It just changes its direction. So the true answer is changes in direction only. The true answer is B, direction only. Direction. Because it acts normally to the direction of movement. Okay. Okay. Question number 4. Okay. The next figure represents. The next figures represent the effect of some forces on a body that moves with velocity v. So which of them can rotate in a uniform circular path? Okay, question number 4. Which of them will rotate in a circular path? Okay, the first one, a body moves in this direction, a force F in this direction, and another force in this direction. So in this case, the resultant force of these two forces in this resultant force, summation F in this direction. So this, the angle between the acting force or resultant force and the direction of movement is not 90 degrees. It is not perpendicular. So this force doesn't cause the body to rotate in circular path. Okay. B, a force, okay, force F and another force F, and the body moves with this velocity. This force equals in magnitude the other force. So the resultant force equals 0. So the body moves in the same direction because there is no force acts upon it. Okay, C, the body moves in this direction and there is a force acts in this direction and a force F in this direction and a force F in this direction. So this force cancels the other force in the opposite direction because they have the same magnitude but they affect in two opposite directions. So the resultant of these forces equals 0. This force cancels this force. So the resultant force, this force only. So this force acts normally to the direction of movement. So it acts as centripetal force. So it keeps the body moving in circular path. So the true answer is C. The true answer is C. Because this force in this case acts normally to the direction of movement. So it keeps the body moving in circular path with constant speed and changeable direction. Okay, question number 5. Question number 5, the centripetal force acting on a car that moves in a circular path that inclines at an angle with the horizontal is resulted from, okay, the centripetal force acting on a car that moves in circular path that inclines at an angle with the horizontal. Okay, we have question number 5. A moving body moves on inclined route or inclined path. Okay, the question asks about the centripetal force in this case resulted from what? The summation of the two vertical components of the friction force and the reaction force. It's wrong. We said that the force that keeps the body moving in circular path, in this case, the friction and horizontal component of reaction. So the true answer is B, the summation of the two horizontal components of friction force and reaction force. So the true answer in this case, because by resolving forces, the weight resolved into two forces, this force and this force. This force, which is called friction force because it is equivalent to the friction force or the horizontal component of friction force. This force is called horizontal and this force is called vertical component of weight. So this force which resulted from the weight and equivalent to the friction force, so we can say it is the horizontal component of friction force. And this force, this is called reaction, force of reaction. And reaction also resolved into two forces. Horizontal component of reaction, horizontal component of reaction, which acts normally to the direction of movement. This force, the car moves in this direction, and this force is perpendicular normally to the direction of movement, so it keeps the body moving in circular path. And another force, also friction force, that acts normally to the direction of movement, so it keeps the body moving. So we have two forces, horizontal component of reaction and horizontal component of friction. So in this case, the true answer is B, the summation of two horizontal components of reaction force and friction force. Okay, question number 6. A boy ties a stone to a string at its end and moves in an horizontal plane in the direction of the arrow, as shown in the figure. Okay, the figure shows that a stone and this stone moves in this direction. So we have choices: B, X, so D, A, C. So the question asks about if the boy leaves the string suddenly when the stone is at X, the stone will move in space direction, neglecting the gravity. The stone will move in this direction, XP, because it will move in tangent at this moment, so it will move in direction XP. So the true answer is B. The stone will move in direction XB direction. Okay, question number 7. The opposite figure represents the motion of the Earth around the Sun in a circular path, where the direction of the centripetal acceleration is. We said that centripetal force acts towards the center of the circular path, right? Also, the acceleration acts in the same direction of centripetal force. So centripetal acceleration acts in the same direction of centripetal force. So where the direction of the centripetal acceleration is in the same direction of force. We see that always force and acceleration have the same direction. The centripetal force acts towards the center of circular path. So also the acceleration acts in the same direction. So both centripetal force and centripetal acceleration act toward the center of circular path. So the true answer is B, in the same direction of the force. The true answer is B, in the same direction of the force. Okay, the centripetal force and centripetal acceleration, both of them act towards the center. Question number 8. Question number 8. If the tangential linear velocity is doubled, tangential linear velocity v2 equals 2v. Okay. And the radius of the circular path is also doubled. Radius or 2 also doubled. So the centripetal acceleration AC. Okay. Before changing the velocity and radius, AC equals what? V square over R. So AC in second case equals V2 square over R2. So by substituting AC in the second case, V square equals V equals what? V2 equals 2V. So 2V all power 2 over R2 equals what? 2R. So 2 square for V square over 2R. By cancelling 2 equals 2V square over R. V square over R equals what? AC. So AC in second case equals 2AC in the first case. So the centripetal acceleration increases by 2 times. So the true answer, the centripetal acceleration is doubled. The true answer is B. The true answer is B. Is doubled. Okay, is doubled. Question number 9. Question number 9. Two objects A and B move along the circumference of the same circle with the same velocity, where MA equals to MB. Two objects A and B move along circumference of the same circle. Both of them moves in the same moves in the same circular path. Okay. So the acceleration with ma equals 2mb. So the acceleration with which a moves is space that which b moves. AC of object A and AC of object B. Greater than, less than, or equal. Okay, we said that the centripetal acceleration equals what? V square over R. So AC A equals what? A and B moves with the same velocity. VA equals VB. V square over, and the same radius over V square. Also ACB equals what? V square, because it moves with the same velocity and the same radius. So ACA equals ACB, because they have the same velocity and they move in the same circular path, which means they have the same radius. So the centripetal force AC of object A equals AC of object B. But you should know that the object A requires centripetal force FC. A is greater than FC of object B because it has greater mass. But both of them have the same centripetal force. So the true answer is A equal AC equal to AB. Okay, question number 10. Question number 10. A car moves around a curve of radius 100 meter. Radius equals 100 meter. Okay. With constant speed 20 meter per second. V equals 20 meter per second. So the centripetal acceleration equals AC equals what? Okay. AC equals V square over R. So AC equals V square 20 square over R 100. 20 square equals 400 over 100. So the true answer is 4 meter per second square. So the true answer is A, 4 meter per second square. Okay, question 11. Okay, question 11. When a body moves along the circumference of a circle of radius R, so the motion is accompanied by a centripetal force acting to changing the direction. The motion is with constant speed. V equals square root centripetal acceleration times R. Okay, we said that AC equals V square over R. So V square equals AC R. So V equals square root AC times R. So the true answer is D, all the previous. Okay, question number 12. Question number 12. If the tangential velocity with which a body moves in circular path is 7 meter per second, V equals 7 meter per second. Where it makes 4 revolutions in 2 minutes. Number of revolutions equals 4 revolutions. Time for we're 4 revolutions in 2 minutes. Sorry, 2 minutes, 2 times 60 seconds. To convert it into seconds, okay? So the radius of the circular path equals what? Okay, number 12. Okay. We said that the distance V equals D over T. Okay, V, we have V and D and T. Okay. It makes 4 revolutions in time 2 times 60. Okay. V equals 7. D distance 4 revolutions, and the revolution, 1 revolution equals what? 2 by R. So it makes 4 times 2 times pi R over T time 2 times 60. So R equals what? 7 times 2 times 60 over 4 times 2 pi equals using calculator. Seven times 2 times 60 over 8 times pi equals 33.4. 33.4 meters. So the true answer is B, 33.4 meters. Okay, question number 13. If the radius of a circular orbit is increased to 4 times, radius or 2 for R, for R1 or for R, okay? 4 times its original value, the centripetal force required to make the speed of the body constant. Centripetal force required, the centripetal force required to make the speed of the body constant, V2 equals V, would be, so centripetal force, and the same body, so M2 equals M. The change only in radius. Okay, FC equals mv square over r. FC2 equals what? M, the same mass, v square, the same velocity, over r, r2 for r. We can say that 1 over 4 mv square over r. This is the first centripetal force. So FC2 in second case equals 1 over 4 FC1. So the centripetal force decreases by 4 times. The centripetal force, question number 15, decreases to quarter its value. So the true answer is D. Decreases to quarter its value. Okay? The centripetal force in the second case decreases to quarter its value because the radius increases. And there is an inverse relationship between centripetal force and radius. By increasing the radius, the centripetal force decreases. So it decreases to quarter its value. Okay, question number 14. If an object of mass 6 kilograms moves in a circular circumference 6 pi, mass equals 6 kilograms, moves in circumference means 2 by r, d equals 2 by r equals 6 pi. Okay, we can substitute 2 by r by 6 pi, okay? With constant speed, 10 meter per second, v equals 10 meter per second, okay? So the centripetal force that acts on the body is centripetal force that acts on this body equals what? Okay, Fc equals what? mv square over r. We have the mass of this body and we have also the velocity, but we didn't have the radius. So we have circumference equals 2 by r. Circumference equals what? 6 pi. So 6 pi by substituting 6 pi equals 2 by r. Pi cancel with pi. So r equals 6 over 2 equals 3 meters. So now we have the radius of this circular path. So FC equals m6 times v square 10 power 2 over 3. Okay, 600 over 3 equals 200 Newton. So the centripetal force equals 200 Newton. So the true answer is B, 200 Newton. Okay. Okay. The next question. Question number 15. A man of mass 50 kilograms rides a bicycle on a curved road of radius 30 meters. Mass of the man equals 50 kilograms. Rides a bicycle on a curved road of radius 30 meters, R equals 30 meters, with a speed of 2 meters per second, V equals 2 meters per second. If the centripetal force that acts on both the man and the bicycle is 10 Newton, Fc on both man and the bicycle, 10 Newton. So the mass of the bicycle is mass of bicycle. Okay. Fc equals what? Mass, which means mass of the man, plus mass of the bicycle, times v square over r. So by substituting Fc10 equals mass of the man 50 kilograms plus mass of the bicycle, v square 2 square 4 over r radius 30. So 30 times 10 300 equals 50 plus mass of the bicycle times 4. So 50 plus mass of the bicycle equals 300 over 4 equals 75. So mass of the bicycle equals 75 minus 50 equals 25 kilograms. So the mass of the bicycle 25 kilogram. The true answer is A, 25 kilogram. Okay, question number 16. Question number 16. The ratio of the centripetal forces, the ratio means fraction. Okay, ratio, fraction, the ratio of centripetal forces acting on two bodies of equal masses. Both body M1 equals M2 equals M. When the first moves with a speed of 5 meters per second, V1, 5 meters per second, in a circle of diameter 4, so radius R1 equals 2 meters. Diameter 4, so the radius equals 2 meters. And the second moves with speed 10 meters per second, V2 equals 10 meters per second. In a circle of diameter 8, so R2 equals 4 meters, because diameter equals 8, so the radius equals diameter over 2 equals 4 meters. He wants us to calculate the ratio between centripetal force F1 over centripetal force F2. Question mark. Always start with the required, okay? FC1 over FC2. Okay, we can write it as FC1 divided FC2 equals, FC1 equals what? M1, which equals M V1 square, so 5 square, 25, over R1, 2. we can write divided times and the reciprocal R2 4 over M2, which is equivalent to M, and V2 10 square times 10 square 100. M cancel with M. 2 times 25, 50 over 100 equals 5 over 10 or 1 over 2. So the ratio between them, the true answer is D, 1 over 2. The true answer is D, 1 over 2. FC1 over FC2 equals 1 over 2. Okay, the next question. 17. A stone of mass 4 kilograms equals 4 kilograms that is tied to a string of length 10 meters. So radius equals 10 meters. Rotates in a horizontal circle. If the tension force in the string is 160 Newton, FC 160 Newton. So the stone speed is, so V equals what? Okay, FC equals what? mv square over r. So V square equals FCR over M. By substituting FC 160 times radius 10 over M4. So V equals what? 100 square root 1600 over 4. Square root 400 equals 20 meter per second. So the true answer, question number 20 meter per second. The true answer is C, 20 meter per second. Okay, the next question. Question number 18. If an object moves in a circular path, then all the following statements are correct, except an object moves in circular path. All these statements are correct except the centripetal force changes the direction of motion. This is true. The centripetal force changes the direction of movement. The centripetal force increases the velocity of the object. The centripetal force increases the velocity of the object. That's wrong. The centripetal force changes the direction only. So the true answer is B. Wrong. The acceleration equals V square over R. It's true. The velocity equals square root AR. Sorry, the true answer is the true answer is B. The centripetal force increases the velocity of the object. It's wrong. The true answer is B. The centripetal force changes the direction only. It doesn't change the magnitude of the velocity. So the true answer is B. Okay, question 19. Critical thinking. If one of the amusement park games, the chairs rotates in a uniform circular path. If one of the chairs is 1.5 away from the center, okay, we have center and there is a chair 1.5 meter away from the center. from the center, and the another chair is 2 meters away from the center, and the other chair 2 meters. So the radius of the second chair 2 meters, and they are on the same, and they rotate. Okay, they rotate together from the center, and both of them are on the same straight line away from the center. So which of them has the largest tangential velocity? مين فيهم 1 or 2? Which of them has the largest tangential velocity, v1 or v2? Okay, you should note that both of them have the same time. They will rotate from this point and return back to this point at the same time. T1 equals T2. They have the same time, okay? But فاهم معناه ايه يعني؟ دلوقتي الجسم الاولاني هيلف الجزء ده، والتاني هيمشي مسافه اطول منه، عشان نوصل معاه في نفس الوقت مش لازم نمشي اسرع. يعني لازم يكون الجسم اللي هو على بعد 2 meters دوت it should move faster than object number 1 to reach the same point at the same time. عشان يوصل معاه في نفس الوقت لازم يكون هيمشي because it covers longer distance. So V2 should be greater than V1 because they have the same time, but radius R2 is greater than R1. So it has longer circumference. The circumference of object number 2, which lies at distance 2 meters from the center, is greater than the circumference of object number 1. So it should move with larger velocity. So V2 greater than V1 to reach the same point, the same position in the same time with the object number 1. So they have the same time, but they have different velocities. The object that lies at 2 meters from the center should move with larger velocity than object 1. So the true answer is C, the chair that is 2 meters away from the center. C, the chair that lies at 2 meters away from the center. Okay? Question number 20. Question number 20 says that a racing car can accelerate by changing. A racing car can accelerate by changing its direction only, its speed only, either its direction or its speed, its direction and its speed. The true answer, its direction and its speed. So the true answer is D. A racing car can accelerate by changing its direction or its speed. Okay, question number 21. A body is revolving with a constant speed in a circle. A body is revolving with a constant speed in a circle. If its direction of motion is reversed, a body moves in this direction, for example. The direction is reversed. It moves in this direction, okay? The question is reversed, but the speed remains the same. Then which of the following statements is true? A, the centripetal force will not suffer any change in magnitude. Centripetal force, yes, because centripetal force in this case, Fc, and also in this case, Fc, it acts towards the center of gravitation, and Fc equals what? Mass of the object times v squared over r. Mass of the object is the same, doesn't change, and v also is the same, doesn't change in magnitude, and r, the radius is the same, is true. The centripetal force will have its direction reversed. It's wrong. The direction of centripetal force always toward the center. In both cases, the centripetal force in this case acts towards the center. In this case, acts towards the center. So the centripetal force the direction of centripetal force doesn't change. So B is incorrect. The centripetal force will suffer change in direction. It's not true. The centripetal force would be doubled. B, C, and D are incorrect. So the true answer is A. The true answer is A, which says that the centripetal force will not suffer any change in magnitude. The centripetal force will not suffer any change in magnitude because centripetal force equals mass times v square. The body moves with the same velocity and over radius. The radius doesn't change. So the centripetal force doesn't change in magnitude and direction. So it acts toward the center of gravitation and with the same magnitude. So the true answer is A. Okay, question number 22. The moon takes 27.3 days to orbit the Earth. The Earth and the moon. The moon takes time 27.3 days. We should convert it into seconds. So we replace day 24 hours, an hour 60 minutes, and minute 60 seconds. The time taken by the moon to complete one revolution around the Earth in second unit. Okay. At an average radial distance of 385,000 kilometers. So radius or distance from the center of the Earth. So from the center of the Earth till the moon R equals 385,000 kilometers times 10 to the power 3 to convert it into meter. Okay. What is the acceleration of the moon? AC equals what? Okay. Start from the required. AC equals V square over R. We have R, but we didn't have V. Okay, V equals what? V equals 2 by R over T. 2 by R equals 385 times 10 to the power 6 over time. It takes time what? 27.3 times 27.3 times 24 times 60 times 60. So V equals, by using calculator, 2 by 385 times 10 to the power 6 over 27.3 times 24 times 60 times 60. So the velocity of the moon 1225.57 meter per second. So AC equals what? V square, this V square over R, which equals 1250.57 square over R 3 times 10 to the power 6. 1025.57 square over 385 times 10 to the power 6 equals 0.0027 meter per second square. So AC equals 2.7. The true answer is A. We can write it by moving this 1, 2, 3, 2.7 times 10 to the power -3 meter per second square. So the true answer is A. The true answer is A. 2.73 times 10 to the power -3 meter per second square. Okay. The next question, 23. 23. A circus player intended to ride a motorcycle of mass m in vertical loop. Okay, vertical loop, and it moves in circular loop. Assuming that the loop is a circle with radius r, the radius equals r. What is the least speed? What is the least speed? The player should have at the top at this point. At the top to remain in contact with it, to remain in contact with it. G, acceleration due to gravity. Okay, at this point there are two forces. Weight acts towards this direction, and also centripetal force to keep the body moving in contact with this point. These two forces should be equivalent. So Fg that makes this motorcycle the player to fall down, and centripetal force that keep it moving in circular path, they should be equivalent. So Fg should be equals Fc at this point. So Fg equals what? Mass of the player times g, which equals Fc equals what? M, mass of the player, v square over r. So mass cancelled with mass. So v equals what? V square equals g r. So v equals square root g times r. So the true answer, question 23, the true answer is C. V equals square root. The true answer is C. V equals square root g times r. Okay, question 24. In the display window of a toy store in the local I can't see. Okay, a battery powered plane is suspended from the string and flying in a horizontal circle. Okay, there is a plane. A plane that rotates in horizontal circle. Okay, you can imagine it. Horizontal circle, the 631 gram plane, its mass 600, so we can convert it into kilogram, 0.631 kilogram. Divided this number by 1000. Makes a complete circle every 2.15 seconds. So circumference equals 2.115. Throw time 2. I'm sorry. It makes complete circle in time 2.15. Time taken by this airplane 2.15 to make one revolution. The radius of the circle is r equals 0.95 meters. Determine the centripetal force acting upon the plane. Centripetal force. Start from the requirement Fc equals mv square over r. We have the mass of the plane. We didn't have velocity, and we have r, so we should get v. V equals what? D over t. It makes one revolution 2 by r in a time 2.15. So v equals 2 pi times r 0.95 over time taken to make this revolution equals 2.15 seconds. So the true answer using calculator, 2 bar times 0.95 over 2.15 equals 2.77 meter per second. And FC equals what? FC equals mv square over r equals mass 0.631 times v square 2.77 all power 2 over r 0.95. Using calculator, 0.631 times 2.77 over 0.95 equals FC 5.09 Newton. So the true answer 5. A 5.13. To be sure, two bar times 0.95 over 2.15, 2776263. 0.613 times 2.7763 square over 0.95. 5 points. احنا عوضنا بالارقام بالظبط يعني هتبقى 5.119 so equivalent to 5.13. So the true answer is A. The next question, question 25. Okay, question 25. The maximum frictional force between the tires of a car and the road is 0.5 the weight of the car. Friction force equals 0.5 the weight of the car. If the car negotiates a curve of radius 10 meters or 10 meters. So its velocity is v equals what? We have an information f equals 0.5 its weight. So by replacing in this case, friction force acts as centripetal force. Sorry. So f equals fc. So we can replace f equals fc equals 0.5 weight. Fc equals what? mv square over r equals 0.5. The weight equals what? mg. Mass of the object cancel with mass. So v square equals what? V square equals 0.5 g r. So v equals what? Square root 0.5 times g 10 times r times 10 equals square root 0.5 times 100 equals 7.07. So the true answer Okay. Put the G 9.8. 9.8 square root 0.5 times 10 times 9 equals 7 meter per second. So the true answer is B. Okay, question 26. A racing car of mass 10 to the power 2 kilograms. Mass 10 to the power 2 kilograms, 100 kilograms. Goes around a circular track, horizontal of radius 10 meters, or equals 10 meters. If the maximum thrust that the track can withstand is 10 to the power 5 Newton. So the maximum speed, so Fc equals 10 to the power 5 Newton. This is the maximum. So we should calculate the maximum speed with which the car can go around. The maximum speed equals what? So Fc equals what? The upthrust force in this case acts as centripetal force. So Fc equals mv square over r. Fc 10 to the power 5 equals mass 10 to the power 2 times v square over r 10. So v square equals 10 times 10 to the power 5 over 10 to the power 2. So v equals what? Square root 10 to the power 6 over 10 to the power 2. 10 to the power 4. 10 to the power 4 equals 100. So the true answer is B. 100 meter per second. This is the maximum speed that the car can move with it to keep it moving in circular path. The next question, 27. Okay, 27. If an aircraft exhausts a horizontal loop of radius 1 kilometer, R equals 1 kilometer, which means 1000 meter, with a steady speed of 900 kilometer per hour. V equals 900 kilometer per hour times 5 over 18 to convert it into meter per second. Meter per second. Okay. So the ratio of its centripetal acceleration to the acceleration due to gravity. Centripetal acceleration, the ratio between centripetal acceleration and acceleration due to gravity. EC over G equals what? Okay, first we should calculate the centripetal force. EC equals what? V square over R. V square, using calculator, 900 times 5 over 18, 250. 250 square over R 10 to the power 3. So AC equals 250 square over 62.5. 62.5 meter per second square. So AC over G, equals 62.5 over 10 equals 6.25 without ratio, without measuring unit, because it is ratio between two similar physical quantities. So the true answer is B, 6.25. Question number 28. Question number 28. A racing car moves around a circular board of a racetrack. Number one, the force, 28I. the force that acts towards the center of the circular part of the race track is caused by air resistance, friction, gravity, lifting. A racing car moves around a circular part of a race track. The force that acts towards the center of circular part of the racetrack is caused by friction. The true answer is B. Friction. Okay, number 2. The force is called centripetal force, circular force, perpendicular force, gravitational force. The true answer is A. Centripetal force. If another racing car has a greater mass and travels at the same speed around the same racetrack, then the force will need to, the mass is doubled, greater mass, so the force will increase. The true answer is A, C, increase. Because by increasing the mass of the moving car, the car moves in the same horizontal, same circular path. By increasing the mass, radius doesn't change and velocity doesn't change. So Fc equals what? mv square over r. So the mass increases, so the required force increases. So the true answer is C. When the racing car goes faster, the force will need to not to decrease, stay the same, increase, vanish. Of course, increase. The true answer is C. The force increases. Okay, question 28. The last question. Sorry, 29, I'm sorry. A planet of mass 10 to the power 20 kilograms. M equals 10 to the power 20 kilograms. Rotates in a circular path such that its displacement within the quarter cycle is this planet, its displacement through quarter cycle. So it moves this. Its displacement equals what? Square root 2 times 10 to the power 10 meters. This is the displacement and covers half cycle within 10 to the power 6. It covers half cycle within half cycle, which means half circumference. It moves displacement half circumference, half 2 by r. In a time, it takes time 10 to the power 6 seconds. Then the centripetal force acting on the planet is centripetal force equals what? So Fc equals what? mv square over r. The mass of the planet, we have the mass, and we didn't have the radius or the velocity. So we should get the radius, then getting the velocity. So we have the displacement from Pythagoras. Displacement equals what? Displacement square root 2 times 10 to the power 10 equals square root r squared plus r squared, which means 2r squared. So 2 times 10 to the power 20 equals 2r squared. So r equals what? R squared equals 2 times 10 to the power. We can cancel 2 with 2, okay. R squared equals square root 10 to the power 20, which equals 10 to the power 10. 10 to the power 20. Square root 10 to the power 20. 10 to the power 10. Meter. Okay, now we get the radius, 10 to the power 10. Okay, now we should get velocity v equals d over t. It covers half circumference times r, which equals 10 to the power 10 over time. It takes time 10 to the power 6 to cancel with 2. So using calculator, by times 10 to the power 10 over 10 to the power 6 equals 3.141 5.91 meter per second. Okay, so we should calculate centripetal force mv square over r. M 10 to the power 20 times v square, this number 3.141 5.91 all power 2 over r. We get r 10 to the power 10 equals, using calculator, 10 to the power 20 times 3.141 over 10 to the power 10 equals 98665. We can, it's a great number, so we can هيجي لي رقم زي ده مثلا يا جماعه. انا عايز بقى 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 12 16 18 9.8 times 10 to the power 18 9.8. so the true answer. وكمان في الاختيارات مش مدينا فهنبدا بالرقم اللي مكتوب قصاده 10 to the power 18. يعني هتلاقي هنا في باي سكوير تايمز 10 to the power 18. ان احنا عندنا تلاقي 10 to the power 18 واحنا الاختيارات كلها فيها باي. فهنبدا في البسيه اللي هي باي سكوير. نجرب كده باي سكوير تايمز 10 to the power 18. هتلاقي نفس الرقم تاني، نفس الرقم. So the true answer is C. The true answer is